Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. I hope all of you are feeling good. Today I will show you the delivery room of my hospital where I work. Let's go in. So you see the room is spacious, well lit, comfortable and pleasant, and of course very well equipped. This is the area for newborn with warmer and all the necessary equipment that is needed for resuscitation. Bed is comfortable, hydraulic and multifunction with adjustment for the posture. Here's the large window with beautiful view, sunlight in the day and moonlight at night. And if you don't want to see anything, so we can draw the curtains. Let's come to the topic. This is the first part of a series on this channel called Womb to Heart. This series is about care during pregnancy, delivery and post-delivery. Today is an introductory talk. We need to know about certain terms and that pregnancy is a physiological condition. It's not a disease. You can walk, you can talk, you can travel, you can do a lot of activities during pregnancy. But it is different from non-pregnant physiological states. That's why you can't manage it alone and need help by a trained healthcare professional. The care provided during pregnancy is called prenatal or antenatal care. The focus and center of this care is no one else but the mom-to-be. The purpose of prenatal care is to enable a woman who is on family way to identify her needs, discuss the concerns with healthcare professional and then make informed decisions. This information is for you and for your doctor. There are certain terms that need some explanation, so I will define the terms for you. First term is booking visit. It is the first appointment in the hospital and the first introduction to the hospital and your meeting with the doctor and midwives or other staff who will look after you during pregnancy. Usually it is around 10 weeks. Fetus. When baby is inside the womb, it is called fetus after 9 weeks of pregnancy. Before 9 weeks of pregnancy, it is called embryo. Screening tests. What are screening tests? These are certain tests that are done to identify whether a woman is high or low risk for certain conditions. These tests will not give us absolute diagnosis but are easier to perform and less risky for mother and fetus. That's why these tests are done at first place. If the test is positive, then diagnostic test will be done later. During start of pregnancy, there are certain informations that a woman should get. And the first information is about the status of vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important for your own health and for your baby's health during pregnancy and during breastfeeding. That's why all pregnant women should take vitamin D supplement 10 microgram or 400 international units per day if their vitamin D levels are adequate. If vitamin D levels are inadequate or deficient, then the amount of vitamin D to be taken will be higher and it will be discussed later. There are certain group of women who are at greatest risk to have vitamin D deficiency. The first group is of those women who are with darker skin, like from Africa or African Caribbean origin or South Asian origin. South Asia includes all the Middle East and subcontinent. Second group of women are those who have limited exposure to sunlight, either they are housebound or confined indoors for long periods, or who cover their skin for religious and cultural reasons. The second thing that you need to know about is screening for certain conditions. First condition is related to the blood. In the blood, there are few conditions that you have to know, and the first condition is iron deficiency anemia. All women who are pregnant are prone to have iron deficiency anemia due to increased demand for iron due to fetus and mother both. So it should be screened as early as possible and ideally by the 10 weeks of pregnancy, and if there is anemia it should be treated vigilantly. The second condition related to blood should be screened for is hemoglobinopathy. Two types of hemoglobinopathies are commonest one. First is sickle cell disease and the second is thalassemia, including alpha and beta both. If a woman belongs to a low risk group, then the screening will be done with the help of history and questionnaires. If a woman on the family way belongs to the high risk group, screening should be done with the help of questionnaire, history, and certain blood tests will be added on. Then screening for fetal abnormalities is very important, and one of the most common fetal abnormality is Down syndrome. It is also called trisomy 21 and there is an extra chromosome in that case. If 700 babies are born, one baby has Down syndrome. So screening for fetal anomalies is done in two steps, and this screening is done by two ways. If a woman present to the healthcare professional between 11 weeks 0 days and 13 weeks 6 days, then the combined test will be performed. Combined test includes an ultrasound that will measure the knuckle translucency. Knuckle translucency means the amount of water behind the neck of the fetus, and this amount of water should be under certain limit or under certain measurement. The second test is a blood test that will include beta human chorionic gonadotrophin, that is the hormone of pregnancy, and pregnancy associated plasma protein A or PAP-A. If a woman present late between 15 weeks and 0 days to 20 weeks and 0 day, then another test will be done, and that is a serum screening test, either triple or quadruple test. Depending upon the number of hormones, those will be tested either 3 or 4. The next screening is for clinical conditions. There are certain clinical conditions, those are common during pregnancy, like gestational diabetes or diabetes mellitus arising during pregnancy. This screening is usually done by the identification of risk factors. Following are the risk factors for diabetes mellitus. Number 1, body mass index above 30 kg per meter square. Number 2, history of previous large baby weighing 4.5 kg or above. Number 3, previously diabetes during pregnancy. Number 4, family history of diabetes. It means first degree relative with diabetes like parents, offsprings or siblings. Number 5, family origin with a high prevalence of diabetes. All women who belong to South Asian origin are prone to have gestational diabetes or diabetes mellitus arising during pregnancy. So I think it's enough for today, and if you have any questions, kindly put forward. It's my pleasure to answer the questions, and next time we will go for the further details. I hope you will don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you. Goodbye. Stay safe.